Good morning, everyone. Well, it's not morning, it's afternoon again. But I've been doing a lot of stuff. I'll show you later. I've been doing a really big abstract. And I didn't video it though, because it's only the first layer and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. But I'll show it to you guys, no problem. What I'm going to do is, this is the photo paper. As you can see there, Kodak Extra Life paper. Yeah, well, the thing is with this paper, a lot of questions about the paper, people. So listen up. The thing with this paper is it does not buckle. No matter how much paint you put on top of it, it will not warp and buckle and do this or do that. It doesn't do anything. It just stays flat as it is, and that's because of this reason. I'll show you. See that plastic? See this? That makes it waterproof. And on top there's another layer. Can't really get that off because it's really thin. Let's see. There you go. This is it. Well, you can see there. See that top little layer here? This is also plastic. So whatever happens, only a really thin slice of paper in between, but the bottom and the top is waterproof, and that's why it doesn't buckle and warp and do stuff, and you can pour acrylic on it. But if you can't get the Kodak Extra Life, no problem. You can get Yupo. Yupo does exactly the same thing because it is waterproof. Okie dokie. Little cup. Bought this one on wish.com because a lot of people are going to be asking, where do you get those little cups? And it's wish.com, and you look for a silicone cup and you will find a lot of them, and that will explain what this is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some pours, the feather kind of pours, and I'm going to do that because I'm going to make jewelry, because I just received my resin also from wish.com. The problem is that I waited, I bought it the 25th of November and I just received it. So that should tell you enough. The 25th of November I bought it. They sent it the 28th of November, and I received it somewhere around, I think it was the 25th of January. So that is a long time. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. I bought a little table. It's one of those tables that you can push halfway under the couch or your bed, and then you have this little tray thing, and you know, usually they're pretty expensive, but I bought that at wish.com too, and it was 31 euros including shipping, and it took only 5 days to get here, so I don't know where they stored that, but I thought that was pretty fast. But some things take 6 weeks to get here. I really don't like waiting that long for stuff, but over here it's even more expensive. So it's worth the wait. Sometimes it's just worth it. So what I'm doing is making these nice little things that I love so much. Then I'm gonna pull it apart like that. Let it go swishy down here. That's kind of cute. But I'm missing the whole beige color, but I'll just do another one. So what I'm doing is making a couple of these, and they're going to be used for the jewelry. And that's what I'm going to give away this month. 2 pendants. That's what I'm going to give away. Because you guys were telling me the price I could ask for them. And I won't be selling them for that much money because I think you're very generous in what you're willing to pay for one of those pendants, but that's a little bit too much. So I'm going to give 2 away this month. Okay, let's do this again. Now we've got some of that nice little color. And we're letting it run down, but I'm not totally happy with the colors. I am happy with the patterns. See, this is the good thing that you can do with photo paper. You can't do this with a canvas. But this is really pretty. So I'm going to keep it as much intact as I can. And we're going to take out little parts of this. This dries a lot faster because first what I do is I let it just air dry for about 2 to 3 days. Then I put it on some sort of a heater, not too warm of course, but I have the central heating and that doesn't get really, really hot. But it really does a good job of making sure the acrylic cures well. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to pour them all and then stop the video. I might just do 4 and then stop the video and then do another video because that might be easier. But again, we're going to put in a little bit of that color, and I'd like a little bit more of that turquoisey color. I have 2 turquoises. We might want to put 2 colors in. There you go. And of course, the burnt sienna, because we love it so much. Oh, guys, I don't know if you've been following it, but in Malaga, in Spain, there was this 2-year-old little boy, Julian. That was his name, and he fell in one of those drilled out. I don't know why they drill it, but some sort of a tunnel thing. And he fell in there 12 days ago. And yesterday they got to really close to where he was going to be. But people were, you know, it was live on YouTube. And people were all about, oh yeah, get him out, get him out. I'm thinking, give it up because that little guy's dead. If they're going to put pressure on those miners that are going to go in there, someone's going to get killed. And because the thing is, no one can live for more than 4 or 5 days without water. And the little guy was in there 12 days, so he was already passed away. That was really, really sad. Of course, you can have hopes and dreams and hoping for a miracle, but, you know, science tells us there's not much going on after 12 days without water. That's just something that it just isn't going to happen. And they found him last night, I think 1:30 in the morning, my time, and he was dead. And the parents are, that is so, I don't even want to think about it. What you want to hear as a parent, I think, is that he died the first day he fell in that hole, because you don't want to think about your child being in there all alone for days on end and being thirsty and hungry and crying for his mommy and no one's there. You don't want to think about that. So I think the best thing you could hope for is that he died the same day he fell in. If you understand what I mean. These are really pretty. I think I can make nice pieces out of this. But there are so many things happening in the world, guys. And sometimes you just have to, you know, think about them a little bit, because life is not only about paint. Okay, let's see if it's gonna be like I'm gonna think it's gonna be. No? Ooh, maybe. Maybe. Not sure. Kind of like that too. I am going to put on some a little bit of glitter though, but I'll do that when it's dry because I like the way that you can really determine where you want the glitter when you do it with glitter and gloss medium or something like that, glaze medium. Okay, I have 4 of them. And I really would like some other colors too. Because I have one with a lot of orange in it, but let's put a little orange in the mix here. And then, oops, the darker turquoise. And at work, guys, because you have heard me talk about that, there's not much going on at work. They've sort of stopped talking about it. So I'm not sure why. But maybe they will just spring it on us just like that one of these days. Wouldn't surprise me. Ooh, that is kind of cute. That is kind of nice. I like the really thin lines. There are a lot of people are trying to do this and they're having trouble. Let's talk about things you have to keep track of to do this. Now, first off is your paint has to be pretty thin. It's thinner than when I pour with it, so just a little thinner. There's no silicone in the paint. What I use is Winsor & Newton Galeria. You could do this with Vallejo, absolutely, and only the thick pouring medium, but don't put silicone in it or it's gonna, you know, burst out in cells. And that's okay, but not for this type of pouring, because you want those fingery things, those feathery things, and if they get broken up with cells, it's not as you know, not pretty as without the cells. The thing is that it is pretty thin, and you pour the colors on top. Usually I don't stir it. I have tried that once, but I thought, you know, that wasn't that interesting. But the thing is, you hold your paper, as you can see I'm holding it on one side so that it tilts a little bit, and you'll have to do that because that's important. Well, let's do one without tilting. So I have it now on the table, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing, and you'll see it's totally different. So that might be why people are having different results than I am. Because if you do this, what you do is you go back and forth, and about, I would say, ½ an inch, back and forth, back and forth. So now I've done that without tilting the paper, and as you can see, it's sort of a ring pour. And of course you can now make it spread. But as you can see, it's very, very tightly, there are very tight circles, and it's not really that feathery, but it's a nice effect. I think this would be pretty to make some, let's see, to make some sort of, yeah, that'll work. But I like the feathery things better. So maybe that's why some people are having a problem with making those feathery things. Now I'll do the same, but then I'll tilt it so you can see the difference. I do need a little bit more paint. A little bit orange, just for the nice colors. A little bit of this, oops, and a little bit of the darker turquoise. Okie dokie. As you can see, it's nicely layered. And now we're going to tilt it, and as we tilt it, we do the same thing. Uh-oh, I'm only getting the turquoise. But because it rolls down, it gives the illusion of those feathers. Oops, it rolled straight off. See that? That's kind of different. Not sure if I can take out that many pieces out of this, but we'll see. It's really pretty. This might be one I would like to frame. Let's see. Yep, that might be frameable. But then I want some of this color. Dokey. Got to make sure that the paper is pretty much covered. Don't want to see any paper peeking through. Okay, oops, and now I have paint in my face. I do want to do something to it. As you know, I like to manipulate it a little bit, like coming through there. Now someone said a bamboo stick and then take a piece off of it. I think that was recent, like yesterday or the day before, but I'm not sure that's gonna help. I will try it because mostly I do stuff that you guys tell me to do. Now here's the bamboo stick. I cut off a piece there, but as you know, paint, no matter what you do, see, the paint just goes back. No matter how you do that, it's not going to make the paint broader by any means. You can pull it over, but you have to be really careful. But still, it's really thin, not as broad as the point is. So that really doesn't work. I'm not sure if there's any way to do that, but okay, now I have my whole table filled with paintings, so I'm gonna have to stop the video in a bit and put them all away. Let's see. Pick it up. But it's still not enough because I want to do a 14 by 14, as you can see. That is still not enough. That's not going to work either. I don't like that. So I'm thinking brush. Let's just brush that. That's okay. Which color did I have? This color. Okay. There we go. A little bit down here. These are two different colors, but that's okay because I do like how they sort of work into each other, only I'm gonna be pulling some out like this, so just to make it look a little bit more like it's poured. There it is. And maybe down here also. See, why it takes so long is because you don't want to get into that other color as I've done now, because then you contaminate your brush, and that's what you don't want to have happening. There, it needs a little bit more of the darker one. And it's going to dry flat, that's no problem. Okay. I do want this in the middle, so I don't want it to really soak out too much. Oh, here it's dripping off the side. Don't want that. Okay, that'll be enough. Now it's totally covered. Okay, guys, gonna put this one away and clean this up a little, and I'll be right back.